Hello, my name is Talethea, and I am hoping that you all will come along with me as I work and plan and research and execute my intent to go from working from home full time to living on board cruise ships while also working full time. So let's do it.
One of the biggest questions that I've gotten pretty regularly, actually, the more I talk to people about my intent to go from working full time at home to working full time living on board cruise ships is how exactly are you going to work that out as far as the internet? I've gotten almost from a lot of people that sometimes the internet on cruise ships just isn't as reliable as the stuff at home, which is something I intend to look into as a part of my research cruise. So I can definitely give y'all more personal information about that from my own experience in a little bit right after I take my research cruise. But a couple things to keep in mind. One, cruise internet is much better than it was. It's made improvements that are leaps and bounds better than it was a little while ago. So I'm hoping to lean into that. But I also have a couple other alternatives, some other things that I have in mind that I'm hoping will help me to be able to log in and work remotely dependably, because that's the only way this whole thing will work. So the question is, can I actually do my job from the middle of the ocean? I'm going to say with some confidence. Today I'm going to break down everything I've learned about cruise internet. We'll talk about Starlink, which is the internet provider on the cruise ship, GigSky. We'll talk a little bit about VPN, which isn't an internet provider. It's something that is in reference to security, like as far as protecting the data on the computer. Hotspots and just the different tools that remote workers use to stay connected. Because that's exactly what I'm doing. I'll just be doing it in a really cool place. That being said, shout out to today. I was able to learn a little bit more about a new influencer that is actually doing exactly what I plan to do. If you know me, I get very excited seeing somebody doing what I'm planning to do. Her handles, her on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok are the Laptop Cruiser. She documents her intention, her plan, how she went from having an apartment to, she said, I walked away from exhausting physical work to build a digital marketing business that she runs from her mobile devices. And now she currently lives on board cruise ships while working full time, y'all. So shout out to her. Nice to meet you. So go and follow her, y'all. Like I said, it's the Laptop Cruiser. It looks like she's got an Amazon store that you can check out. She's on YouTube. I found she said hello and sent a shout out. In fact, that's how I found her on TikTok. And I also went and followed her page on Facebook. I'll post a picture of her so y'all can go and say hello and follow her as well. But so back to the conversation, a little sidebar there, about cruise internet and how this is going to work for me. So when I work from home, I've got the modem and the router and all that stuff that's underground and in my house. I've got things that are plugged in. Once I set up my home office, I'm able to just go to my workstation, do my little 2 or 3 minute work commute, go log in and get busy, right? And get busy working during my workday. This is actually what I'm going to do, exactly the same thing, just from cabins. Now, the only difference is the cruise ships that are getting the internet are using it from satellites that are in space, just like at my house, but they have satellite dishes that are on top of the cruise ship, which is what's going to help us to have cruise internet. I have gotten some feedback as far as making sure I'm checking to see, I guess, where the cabins are that are closest to the routers. And apparently that is something that would help me to have better internet connection. I don't know. We'll see. That is something I'll look into just to kind of see how that works when I go and do my research. But that is the plan. So a couple things. Starlink is what offers the internet packages that you get on board the cruise ship. I definitely intend to get that. I'll just have to make that a business expense and make sure I'm able to use it as much as I can. But from what I understand, it is more than able to handle what I have to do with my job. So that's what I'll be working with from that. And then, so Starlink is the Wi-Fi on the whole ship. I'll also be trying out GigSky. I'm not in a position to make any recommendations for them yet. I just found I'm learning a little bit more about the company as I go, but they are an e-provider, meaning it'll be an app on my phone or on my tablet or on my laptop, depending on what I'm using, that I'll be able to use to be able to tap into the internet that's there. From what I understand, when the ship is in port or just in certain places internationally is when I'll have to use an eSIM, because I guess that those are the times when maybe the internet on board the ship is either not available or not as good. So we'll see. From what I understand for that, it's kind of like going from one cell phone carrier to another, or like using one app to a different one to be able to get the resource I need. So that's my plan for that. Another thing that is important is It's not necessarily a replacement for the ship Wi-Fi, Starlink, so the cruise internet, which is something that I have as a backup, and then VPN, which is another tool that I'll be using. But VPN is not, like I said earlier, it's not an internet provider. What VPN does is offer security for the internet connection, the data that's on my laptop, which is sensitive stuff, and I want to do what I can to protect it, right? If I'm traveling and doing my job in all the different places where I'll be going. A lot of employers require VPNs when you're working remotely. I don't really know a lot about the one for my employer, so I'm going to find that out. But I do understand, I do respect what it does, and if I need it, I want to be sure I have it. So my floating office, what I intend to have is my laptop. I'll have my screen extender, which is the thing that it kind of folds out. So it'll give me 3 screens to work off of instead of just the one main screen on my laptop. I've got my headset. I've got a webcam, there's one attached to the laptop, but I actually also have a webcam that I'll be able to take along. Portable power bank if I need it. USB C-hub chargers. I'll definitely be the ship's Wi-Fi will be a part of my resources. GigSky's backup, and then VPN for security. It's my intention to build this setup and see how well it works intentionally while on my research cruise. Now, there's a lot of stuff that I still don't know. I'll be figuring it out as I go, and as I figure that out, I'll share that with y'all as well. But this is what I'll be planning to have along with me as I start and what I'll be researching to begin with. Things I'll still need to figure out. I believe meetings will work fine. From what I understand, I'll need to find out how well, as far as the internet speeds go, while being on camera or off camera. That's not too much of a concern for me. I'm not on camera much at work. I would rather not be on camera at all. I guess, but there are a couple times when I'll have to. We'll see how that goes. Can I upload videos? Is the Wi-Fi better inside the cabin or outside a balcony? Is there a place on the ship that might work better? Which is another cool thing about working on a ship. I don't have to work in my cabin, right? I can go pretty much all over, any place where I can get set up and kind of be left alone, which is what I'm looking forward to. So we'll see how that goes. I want to know how reliable the connection is during stays. I want to actually give an honest test and review of GigSky to see how that goes. And then just being sure that I feel confident about being able to do a good quality hour work day while I'm on board the cruise, because it's not my vacation. It's what I'm transitioning my life to be. So we'll see. So almost immediately after just telling people about my intention to go and work remotely, the questions about internet and being able to work remotely on board a cruise ship started, which is good. I like it. Give me the feedback. If y'all have suggestions, or if y'all know of anybody that's working remotely and are on board cruise ships, let me know how they're doing it. Whatever tips or suggestions you have that can help me along this, thank you. But these are the things that I'm figuring out. How does working remotely on board the cruise ship actually look? What's the cost? How does the internet working? And then how will this work as a part of my lifestyle realistically? So as I figure this out, I'll definitely share that with y'all. So if you are curious about working remotely and traveling, or if you've already done it, I would love to hear about your experience in the comments. Let me know, y'all. Let's see. So question of the day. If you could work anywhere in the world for 1 month remotely, where would you choose and why? Tell us a little bit about that. I'll be happy to hear it. And then that's pretty much it. So thank y'all for listening. Here again, if you have any feedback, I know for certain that this is being done. So here again, that was another reason why I was super excited to see the laptop cruiser and see that she's doing it. There's all kinds of ladies that I've been able to follow, but this has been fun. So y'all have a good day.